Ayo, we made this. Ammo 7 did it again.
Welcome to Big Ego Media. I've got a special guest called by the name of Bugsy. How are you today, bro?
I'm good, brother. You alright, yeah, Bobs?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. I mean, before we get going, it's good to see you here in good health, but you had a few issues of late. Like, talk us through that.
So basically, I had some swelling on my brain that was blocking, because how your brain works, if you get swelling on the right side, it blocks your right side. So all the signals to the right side of my body were gone. I couldn't speak. I had no use of my right arms and legs. I was just basically trapped in my body. I was basically imprisoned in my body for a little while. I was in hospital for like 3 weeks. And I'm just now getting back to it. I'm just now finding myself getting normal, getting some little bit of usage of my limbs, my faculties again, just getting back to life, about to start pushing them podcasts very hard. That's about it, really.
I mean, that must be scary. Like, was it a sudden thing, or over time was you feeling your body changing? Because like you couldn't just find you waking up and one side of your body's not functioning.
No, it didn't go like that. So I didn't have there was no warnings or nothing. So I woke up on a Monday morning. I was normal, but I woke up about 10. Everything was normal. 12:30, I noticed that I was having problems talking. I couldn't talk. Like I was I'm trying to say things and it's not coming out. And then by 1:15, my whole right side was gone. Couldn't move nothing. And then I went in the hospital. And at first they thought I had a stroke. So I was in hospital for 1 day. They gave me some aspirin, kicked me out, told me to go home with the aspirin. And then they phoned me back the next morning and told me I need to find myself down there ASAP. And then that I had some swelling on my brain.
I mean, and you don't even know how that came about, where it could have come from.
Still don't know. They're saying basically the neurology specialist has told me that it was a 1 in a million thing, and he don't know what's happened, and he don't think it will happen again. But I'm like, how can you not know it's not going to happen again if you don't know what it is?
Yeah, so that's crazy. I mean, how much did that put perspective of life?
I tell you what, yeah. Imagine being imprisoned in your body, yeah. Like your mind, feels like it's fully healthy. So you feel like you can still do everything normally, but your body doesn't respond to it. It puts so much things into perspective, because when I was in the hospital, all I was praying for is to go back to being normal. That's all I wanted. I didn't want anything else. If I had 200 billion pound at that time, I would have gave it to a man for normality, for me to be able to do things what I do on a day-to-day basis, like pick up my kids and just do normal shit. Like you can't, you take health for granted until it's not there, innit? I was lucky because I got the chance to come back. Some people don't get the chance to come back. You know what I mean?
I mean, how did your family react at the time?
They was in bits. Everybody thought, I kind of had to keep everybody upbeat. So my mindset while I was there was, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna come out the other side. It's just a little blip. And we'll get back to it whenever we're supposed to. And I'm here now, so.
Yeah, man, we praise God. I mean, going back to your own story then, let us know where you're from. Where did you actually grow up?
I was born in Birmingham, you know.
Okay.
I was born in Birmingham. First place I lived in London when I moved down here from Birmingham. I was 3 years old. I moved to Camden Estate.
In Peckham?
Yep, I lived in Peckham. Then I moved to North Peckham. And then I moved to Brockley. So from three to the age of like 9, I lived in Peckham. So I went primary school. I went Oliver Goldsmith. Okay. I grew up with a lot of people from Peckham. Loads of people. I'm not here to name drop, but yeah, I did that, and then I moved to Brockley, and that's where I've been since.
I mean, how was childhood for you, and why did your parents decide you had to move from Birmingham to London?
My mum was young. She was caught up in things a bit. So she moved. She decided to make that move for her to kind of try and offer man a better life. But obviously, she's from Birmingham, so she's moving to Camden Estate and North Peckham Estate. She doesn't understand what she's moving into.
Know what she's gonna do, yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So she moved there. She did it to give us a better chance, but it never worked out like that, innit? Because we ended up in the ghetto.
And did dad play a part at all?
My biological dad has never played a part in my life ever. Yeah. I met my stepdad. My mum met my stepdad when we moved to Peckham. and that's my real dad because he's been there ever since. But he died last year.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, rest in peace. So.
I mean, for like, I've always kind of, because I've got 2 daughters, and I've never understood, like, you're a father yourself, I've never understood a father who would never want to play a part in the children's life, no matter what it is, like, even if, because sometimes as men, it's that the embarrassment of not having money sometimes and so on, but you can still do different things for your children. So with that, did your mom ever talk to you about your biological father, like what happened, or was it just? You know,
like, it's. You see what I learned. Now I'm a father and an adult. Yeah, this is what I've learned. They had a relationship, innit? So her opinion of his was not that I wouldn't say she pushed it on me, but that's what she voiced, innit? She could only voice her opinion of him. So the opinion that I had of him was based on what I heard her say, innit? Yeah. And he never did nothing to change that because he didn't participate. So she could have called him certain things, but if he was around, then I could have defended him. But he weren't. So that just what it was, innit? He was just an absent father who, to me, never did nothing. Never ever. And then I'll tell you what, I met him for the first time when I was 13 in Birmingham. When I went back up to Birmingham with one of my uncles, introduced me to him. I saw him when I was 13 on the roadside. I met him outside, said hello, whatever. And then I never see him again. And then when he passed in, I think he died in 2013 or 14. Yeah. He died. And I went to see him because my stepdad told me, like, yo, there's 2 sides to every story. Go and see him and hear him out, listen to him. You get me? But I went to see him and I said, what's going on? What you got to say? He said, we'll speak another time. But he had cancer. Yeah. So he was basically dying of cancer at that moment. So I said, whatever. I said, all right, whatever. And then the day after I left from him, he died. So.
Do you think he was waiting to see you one last time?
I don't think so because I can't.
He could have seen you all the time.
I can't see that because he could have seen me at any time. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Like even though he never had contact with my mom, he had contact with people that had contact with me. So if he wanted to get in contact, he would have. Like, that's how I see it.
And how did that kind of play into your early childhood in terms of your behaviour at school and in the home?
I'll be honest with you. You see, growing up in a household. So basically, in my household, I was the only child without their biological father. You get what I'm saying? So that was a big thing for me. Kind of the sense of belonging and knowing where I belong. It was a big thing for me as a youth coming up because my sister moved back to Birmingham to live with her dad. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? And then my stepbrothers and sisters, they're with their dad, innit? So it played a big part. That was a big issue for me that I didn't even realize until I got older. That was such an issue for me, and I was angry. I was majorly angry about that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? But I didn't know that until I got older.
What were your kind of early interests in school and stuff like that?
I wanted to play football, but I wasn't good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was interested in football from Peckham days. Peckham, you know Tech, Club Tech in Peckham, yeah? I used to go there and play football with them. You see Marlon King? Yeah. I used to play football with him, yeah, at Tech. But I wasn't good, so they knocked my confidence. So I dropped out football for a very long time, and I didn't get good till I was 11. 11 is when I started to say, I can actually do this, but for most of it, I was just lost because I couldn't do what I wanted to.
I mean, what was the transition from going from Peckham to then going to the borough of Lewisham? Was you aware of the kind of beefs that were there?
No, you know what? I was aware of Peckham and Ghetto boys, yeah, because my brother was an older Peckham boy. The first kind of interaction I ever had with Ghetto boys was that I saw my brother and them lot beefing. Do you remember Mamas on Frontline?
Yeah.
I saw the first time I ever saw a gang beef like that was Ghetto come Peckham to beef my brother and them lot, and I was there watching it. So I was aware of them, but I weren't involved at that point. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So then when you kind of moved to kind of Lewisham, what school did you go to at the time?
I was still going Oliver Goldsmith.
Oh, you're still traveling?
Yeah, I was still traveling, still going Oliver Goldsmith, but then I got kicked out of Oliver Goldsmith. I think I was, what year was I? Third year? Third year? Yeah, I got kicked out of Oliver Goldsmith third year. And then I was out of school. I was out of school for a little while, and then I started a school called Stillness. So this was all still primary school times. Yeah. I was getting in trouble from early. I was just coasting, and then the ghetto boy thing for me, first year in secondary school, that all started.
How did it come about?
I had family in Lewisham Borough that were ghetto boys, and the school I went to was just. It was ghetto boys, innit? That's what.
What was the school?
I went Forest Hill Boys.
Okay.
That was the first school I went because I got kicked out of there as well. So, yeah, I just linked up with my mates, and it just naturally happened that, man, I didn't even try to be a ghetto boy, but everybody that I was with was all my friends and my family was just ghetto boys. So I just ended up being a ghetto boy. You know what I mean?
Because us over in Peckham just felt that everyone was a ghetto boy if you lived in Lewisham, but that's not the case.
Nah, definitely not. You know, like you like to say, cool kids.
Yeah.
The ghetto boys were a cool kids thing, innit? You couldn't in the ghetto. Not anybody could just be a ghetto boy. Them in them times there, you had to be connected or something. You had to have something about you. You couldn't just roll with the man them at any point. You weren't just allowed that. That weren't allowed them times. Them days. Was a bit different from this gang culture now.
And what was kind of like your parents' views? Were they seeing what's going on, or was you hiding it from them?
Because you see, because I'm from Birmingham, so I had family in Birmingham, but I lived in Peckham, So when I lived in Peckham, I had my big brother on North Peckham Estate. My big brother was a proper main Peckham boy, so the whole gang thing was kind of normalized to me from an early age. Because when I was in Birmingham, I was with my cousins and them. They were a gang in Birmingham, so I'd be rolling with a gang in Birmingham. Then when I come back down here, I'm around my brother and them, and all the NPB before Peckham Boys was NPB and North Peckham Boys. So the gang thing was just normal to me. It weren't. I've never seen different. I had never seen nothing different. Everybody I had been around was a gang member.
So you're saying that you got kicked out of school in Forest Hill. Like, what was that behaviour? Why did it lead to you getting kicked out?
I was just continuously fighting. I was a bit of a bully. I won't even lie. I was a bit of a bully at the time, and man was very violent, angry. I was an angry kid, innit? Everything was just anger. Everything like the only emotion I knew how to show was anger. So I was constantly showing that.
And how did the name Bugsy come about?
I'll be honest with you. See Bugsy Malone. You see the fat boxer.
Okay.
The man them said I looked like him in it, but they couldn't remember his name, so man just gave it the Bugsy thing. So.
Yeah, I hear that. So, like, as you're kind of growing up now, you're intertwined in that life. Like, what was it about that lifestyle that was pulling you in? Like, this is exciting. Because we all go through that. Like, you feel excited. Did you feel like it was part of a family? What was it? Yeah,
remember what I said about me being in the house, the only person without their biological dad. It was kind of like, whether or not I knew it at the time, I was definitely looking for something of my own. You get what I'm saying? Because in my house, as far as, like, don't get twisted, my stepdad never made me feel no way or nothing like that. And I love him. That's my dad. But I was looking for something of my own that weren't in my house. So, I attached myself to the man them very hard.
And then I guess, like, there's an era when Peckham versus Ghetto was hot. Like, it was literally like, this is gang warfare. Do you remember sort of any times you was around that and you saw these things happening?
I was very intertwined in that at one point. At one point, that was man's main thing. Man was beefing Peckham youths. So let's say from the age of like 14 up till 24, 25 probably. But it weren't, towards the end of it, it weren't as prominent as it was at the beginning, you know what I mean? So the most prominent time was from like 16 up to 21.
Yeah.
It was really on site with them.
And for yourself, did you ever understand why it was on site, or just a thing about okay, we just don't like them? Because for me, we were just told we don't like Ghetto Boys, and that's it. No one ever told me the reason why we didn't like Ghetto Boys. And you're a little bit older than me, so was there anyone told you where there was a history of a fight? Or one of the biggest one I hear, I don't know if it's true or not, was Quasi from Peckham and Sparks from Ghetto had a fight, and that sparked it all. But I don't know if that's true
as I said to you, because my brother's at MPB, I can remember Ghetto and Peckham before Sparks and Quasi.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So the first time I saw a man get stabbed was a Ghetto boy, and that must have been like 1990, 91.
Wow.
I was 8 or 9, and as I said to you, so I was aware of that beef, but because I had just moved from Peckham, I still had a lot of friends in Peckham. You get what I'm saying? So even when that beef started, wholeheartedly I wasn't in it until one time. I remember we bucked Peckham youths. Well, we never bucked them. They come down, and a man who I went primary school with bottled me, and that just changed. That changed the whole game, innit? Like, okay, so this is what we're doing. I know you. I knew you before all of this. That don't matter. That don't matter for nothing. So.
And that's why I always try to encourage our young people, like when they play football, like we've got kids coming from Stoke Newton, kids coming from Dawson, kids coming from Homerton, and hope that the fact that you play football with each other at a young age would not allow you to, when you see each other, you might say, oh no, allow him, I know my man, but sometimes it don't really work.
It don't really work like that. Like the guy that actually bottled me, Oliver Goldsmith, that was my friend from Oliver Goldsmith.
Wow.
Now, I probably hadn't seen him for about 4 or 5 years when he bottled me, and I was in shock. I couldn't actually believe it, but then that just made me think, that's what it is. Okay, it doesn't matter if we know each other. You're from over there, I'm from over there. It's beef. That's just what it is.
Was it any moment like when you kind of feared for your life?
Yeah, a couple times. Couple times I've been in some sticky situations. I mean, you know what it is when you're beefing. You're young, innit? So you do stupid things like. I remember I went to a house party in Bermondsey with a girl, and I let her tell me that there's not going to be no Peckham youths there. And when I say all of them was there, all of them, they all came, turned on the light and saw me in the party like, yes, and rare, and I had to get out. I don't know how I managed to, but I managed to get away. Couple times we've bucked them at raves like Bagley's, just One Nation in Stratford. We bucked them in mad places and it's been on tops. Yeah, a couple times I've feared for my life. We've gone Peckham. They've beat some gunshots at us and rare. You know how it goes. Just normal stuff, man. Usual stuff.
And I say because I remember like we had literally it's idle hands. We had nothing to do, and someone would say, "Oh, let's go Ghetto."
Like that.
No reason at all.
Same thing on our end. So man might be somewhere, and then man's bored. Man will say, "Right, fuck it. Can't we just go Peckham?" And we'll just walk through Peckham, and whatever happens. So it's the same. You know what? You never, when you're young, you don't believe it, yeah. But we would never understand how much we actually have in common. You know what I mean? From one side to another. Because I thought there was a point in my life where I thought I could never like Peckham boys. Like never. That's impossible. I could never like Peckham boys. And I'll tell you no lie. I went to jail, and I'm not going to mention his name, but one of them ended up being one of my closest friends in jail, where we banged up in a cell, and he was one of the main ones he was like my main enemy. But when we bucked in jail, what happened is I had a visit. Me and him both had a visit. He was sitting on the table next to me. The person never showed up for his visit, and my dad was offering him sweets and stuff and drinks and stuff. You get me? Because he see another black boy. So my dad's saying, "Yo, you want this?" And the respect that he showed to my dad, I could never have a problem with him. Just off of that alone. So we linked up, and we're still friends now, man.
I mean, you jumped into that, so you end up going to jail. How old were you when you first went to jail?
You know what? I went to jail late. The first time I went to jail, I was 27.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, I know. I escaped. The reason why I tell you why I started to follow. I learned from 14. I learned to follow my gut. So listen to this, right? We was 14. This was the first time we ever went to rob a drug dealer. The very, very, very first time. And the day that we were supposed to go, I said to the man them, blood, I'm not even going. And one of the man them started dissing me. You've lost it, rare, you're not on it, rare. You know how it goes when you're them ages there, peer pressure, boom, boom, boom. I ended up going. Now, the brother that we went to rob he was either a semi-professional or professional boxer. And he caught me and bust my ass.
Active.
He caught me, listen.
Talk us through it. So you guys have gone on this. We need to get the full story here.
So what we've done, the man them's dissing me. I'm saying, all right, fuck it, I'm coming. I'm saying, what have we got for this? So the man them they've showed me something. It was supposed to be a burner. I thought it was a real burner.
Yeah.
Then when we got to the man's door and we've knocked the door, they pulled it out and it's one of them G10 blocks. You remember them G10, that used to pull back the thing on the G10 ones, yeah? So it's a fake gun, innit? So, but I'm saying, we're here now, fuck it, whatever, we're going through. Obviously me being me, I've gone in the yard, I'm kind of trying to control the situation, innit? Like, get down, rare. So he from in the yard, he must have clocked. I'm the fattest one, whatever, rare. So we've done it, we've got out the yard, we're running off now. He's just following us. And he's saying, bust the gun, innit? Bust the gun. Okay. But obviously, after time, he's starting to realize, these boys ain't busting this gun, innit? So he is chasing us for about, we got chased, yeah? He was chasing us for about an hour and a half.
Fucking hell.
No jokes.
Where
I remember.
You guys running? Where is it?
We're in. If you know Sydenham, we're in Lower Sydenham and we're running around. We're just running, constant running around, just forever running. You get what I'm saying? Just forever running. So I remember we run through the back of someone's garden and jumped the fence, and this brother ran through the fence.
Fucking hell.
This brother just ran through the fence. Like it was like a horror film, you know? It was like a horror film. I heard the fence break, I see his fist coming through. Like he was just on us, you get me? And then when he was chasing us, he was saying, look, I will never forget this. He said, I remember him shouting that, he said, look, your friend, the fat one, is getting tired. I'm gonna catch him. And I'm thinking, you know, like we're running and I'm looking around and I'm saying, right, who's the fat one? Who's the fat one? It's me, innit?
Yeah.
So in the end, tried to hide from him. Blood, he caught me and he bust my ass. I won't lie to the world. He bust my ass. But that was a lesson for me. Like that was my lesson to say that if my vibe ain't with it, I'm winging. If my gut's not in it, if my gut said to me, don't do it, I'm not doing it. So I was kind of glad for that because that's how I avoided going to jail for so long. A lot of things went on. Like man would phone me and tell me that the guy had to do something, and my gut would say, nah, I'm not doing it. And then a couple hours later, I'll get the call, them man got nicked. So I'd say, raw, you get what I'm saying? So that was kind of a blessing and a disguise. That was kind of a blessing and a curse in the same thing.
So with that then, what did you have to call the police or something?
No, I went to, you know what? I got my ass bus. You know how funny it is? That night that we did that thing, yeah, my mum was following us.
Wow.
My mum was following us, yeah. So when I went home and I was mashed up and all that, I was messed up, I was bloodied up, messed up, whatever. My mum took me to the hospital. Yeah. But obviously when she's taking me to the hospital, she's trying to bust my head saying, I knew you was doing something rare, whatever. But I called my brother. No, tell her that I got to the hospital and I bucked the same guy in the hospital again. You get me? So I've called my brother like, yo, bro, I'm in this hospital. This brother who bust me up. You man better come. So when my brother and them's come and started moving to him, he's saying, no, but they tried to rob me. So my mum's hearing all of this now. She's looking at me like, you pussy, yo, look what you did. Good. You should have bust your ass trying to tell my brother and them to allow it. But they moved to him. And then, yeah, I just said this. That was just a lesson. That was one lesson that I learned at that time. You get what I'm saying?
So at which point did you end up in prison then?
I was 27 for guns and drugs. You know.
And how long did you get?
I got 7.5 years.
I mean, you went in pretty late. Like when going in kind of that late, how was that for you? Was you fearful? Oh, fucking, I'm 27, I going to jail. Like,
no, you see, because it was so late. I was able to rationalize it as. That's what happens. Man's playing this game, and if you get caught, you go to prison. So even like the week before I went to jail, my mum's house got raided twice. Yeah, feds raided my mum's house twice. But that's kind of why I went to jail, because they raided my mum's house. I thought they didn't know where I was living, so that kind of made me laxy davy. So I had guns, drugs, and money in my house. So when they come for me, they caught me bang to rats, and I was able to say to myself, even before I even got to court, when I was outside in the police car, I said, yeah, you're going jail. I don't know how long for, but you just got to ride this because you've been caught. That's it. You're banged to rights. You've been caught. So because of the age, I think I was able to get my head around it a lot quicker than most, man. When you're young, you can't get your head around it. And then obviously the first prison I went to was Brixton, and I had all my cousins in there. As soon as I got in there, I bucked all my cousins. So that all made it a lot easier for me.
And like going back a bit now, obviously you said you guys were beefing the Peckham boys, but you end up getting stabbed, and these were guys from Woolwich. Yeah, So was with the beef with Peckham and Ghetto as harsh as it was with Peckham and Woolwich? I mean, so with Ghetto and Woolwich as well.
You see, the thing with Woolwich youths, it was very intense, but for a short period. It weren't as long as like Ghetto and Peckham's kind of some historic thing, innit? When we was beefing Woolwich youths, it was intense but short-lived. It weren't on like that, because even now that's not on. No, it's not really. It don't happen. You get what I'm saying? But at the time we started that beef. There used to be a club in Gillingham where we used to go, called Excalibur. It was an under 18s club where we used to go on a Friday, and Woolwich youths used to go there as well. At first we was cool with them, then one night I think one of them troubled my little cousin, and I weren't there. But you see, after the rave, there was only one train. The last train from Gillingham to Lewisham, everybody had to get that same train in it. So I showed up at the train station, and I moved to the Woolwich youths, and that was the start of it, essentially. Yeah.
And how long did that last, kind of?
See, 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
And how did they catch you? How did they catch you?
Basically, we went looking for them. So basically, there was a party in Sydenham, and we heard that they was there. So we went there for them. We went there for them. We saw them sitting in a car. I must have bricked the car, and they drove off. Innit? But they went round a corner and parked up. So when they parked up, we was on our way back to our block, and we've seen them again. So we jumped out the car and trapped them. So basically, it was only one man. I'm not even gonna lie. It was one man who beefed about 5 of us.
Okay.
And he had to. He never had a choice. It was either that or you're just gonna get stabbed up. You either fight or you're just gonna get stabbed up. So he went out like a soldier. I'll give him his dues. He went out. He just did his thing. He did his thing.
And he ended up catching you?
Yeah, he ended up catching 2 of us.
Was it life-threatening?
Yeah, my guts, my intestines was hanging out and all that. I cut my intestines and pulled my intestines out of my belly. Yeah, so.
At that point, did you think you were gonna die?
You know what? No. Yeah. You know what? No, I didn't, you know. I honestly didn't. The other man with me who got stabbed, he thought he was gonna die. But I wasn't. I don't know. I just weren't ready. I weren't ready to die, so I didn't even think about it. I just thought, yo, we need to get to the hospital and get this fixed.
Yeah. I mean, at times has moved on. You've gone through these traumas in life. You've gone jail on a few other occasions, and you've come out as an older man. Like, what's made you finally click and say, you know what, this life is bullshit, man? Like,
bro, it's all everything. Listen, everything's fake. Even like the dream of it. Just think about it. Like when you were young, the dream is you're gonna meet a plug, you're gonna get them things for like 15 or 20 and sell them to everybody for 30 and make 10 grand off of every sale. You can bring in your people, everyone's gonna be rich. It's all fake, innit? How many man do you know that have done that? Like, don't get it twisted. I'm not gonna lie and say there's not a couple man that have made whatever, but it's fake. Even the loyalty thing. It's down to the loyalty thing. When I was young in this thing, I probably had 100 man that I would call my friends that I would do anything for. But would they do the same for me? Yeah. You know what I mean? And when you start to realize, you start to clock the things like, yo, my man ain't riding for you like you're riding for him. What's going on? What's that? And then money comes into play, and then making money comes into play. Yeah. Making money makes you see a lot of people's real character.
I had an interview with Stiggs from Peckham one time, and one of the things he said, like, when he looks around, said, I wasn't really any of these people's friends. We just hung out together because someone else knew someone and like, yo, we're chilling with my man, but literally, you weren't my friend. You're not someone that, even to this day, I'll hang around with. So it's just that when you're in that environment as a young person, you're all around each other. You're not really friends like that.
You know that there's most men I couldn't say I've been to their house or been in their house, but at the time I felt I owed them some form of loyalty, innit? Yeah. But you realize, man, situations you get caught in situations where you're doing things and man are not doing things man say that they're gonna do. Everyone's saying that they're this and they're gonna ride. And then when you get caught up in a situation, you're saying, "Raw, hold on, blood, you would have left me to dead." Like, what's going on?
And there's many people who are now sitting in jail for life on the basis of riding out for friends that weren't even really their friends.
Definitely.
And that's the hardship of life now.
Definitely. There's so many man locked up for man, and man don't even check them. Man are in jail. Like even me. The last time I went to jail, I sold a man a car. He went and did a move in a car. I went to jail. Never shitted on me. Never shitted on me. And that was kind of like the big wake up call. Like, hold on, I'm keeping it real here. Like, I'm going to jail for nothing. I weren't involved in nothing. The feds are saying to me, you don't fit the description. The guy's 6 foot, whatever. You're not the description. And I'm not, wait, I'm riding this. What's man doing for me? What's going on? You get me? Like, what's happened? I've kept it real. This is real. This is real shit. And man ain't doing nothing for you. So that was a big wake up call where I was like, yeah, this is a bit mad. Like, I've got to look about me and only me because everyone else is doing it.
And it came about then, you then created the Blue Tick podcast. I think I was your first guest. You was our first interview.
I
mean, why did you guys decide to create a podcast at the time? And I guess to showcase Lewisham, the bar of Lewisham, what was it about?
You know, we created Blue Tick for fun and to show real stories of what really happens and try and give them another perspective of what everyone's pushing. Because right now, all everybody pushes is straight madness. It's nothing, it's negative, innit? And they're not even telling you the real of it. Man are telling you I'm this and I'm that, but man not telling you about that time that he got dust out by 50 man and he was shaking in the bush, nearly died, and he was scared. And when police come in your yard and your mom's crying and rare. Man's not telling you the real, man's not giving you the full story. Yeah. So we wanted to give the youths them our platform where we could get people on there and talk about the real and give them real life perspective from both sides. Yeah. From the side that they like to hear from and the stuff that you don't hear about. That was the main thing. And
it's gone from strength to strength. And you said that at the time you had to take a bit of a pause because of your health issues.
Yeah, because of my health issues.
You just shot a new one soon.
Yeah, I shot this week. First episode back was this week. You know what I mean?
And just quickly again, because I remember kind of seeing some of the stuff. Like obviously, Rapman, he came about, created Blue Story for you guys, but it didn't get all the love from everyone from Lewisham. Why do you think that was?
All right, now this, you see, because man was personally, the man them were personally invested in this thing, innit? Yeah. So the man them feel like if you're gonna tell a story about it, you should come to the man them and speak to the man them. Like even if man should, in some way, man maybe you should do some research, come and get your stories from the man them. You shouldn't just be using the names, the Ghetto boy and the Peckham boy names for your self gain. You get what I'm saying? But I was kind of that fault chain as well. But I understand, I get it. Like Rapman's, he's doing what he does. Yeah. If like I said, the best way for me to put it is, if Jay-Z comes to me to write a check about Woolwich Youths versus Ghetto Youths, am I gonna contact anybody, or I'm just gonna do what I gotta do? That's just it. So it's kind of hard, and the way everybody feels in it is that like the Peckham Youths won in it. And there was no winners in the Peckham Youths and Ghetto Youths thing. No one's better off than no one. No one's walked away from that beef better off than anyone. Yeah. We've all took L's. We've all had good days. We've all had bad days. Yeah. You get what I mean? So certain man ain't even watched the film. They're just upset about it. You get what I'm saying? And I was at first when I watched it, I was disappointed because the way I feel, it didn't represent anybody who was really in the beef.
Yeah.
Like you're telling a story about man's beef, but you didn't make a representation of anyone who was really in it.
But could you have come to someone said, okay, yeah, if I'm gonna give you this part of the story, you need to write a check. Would that have been an issue with some people? So, and who do you go to? Because there were a lot of Ghetto boys.
Yeah,
so if you go to this person, someone say, well, he didn't know the story. So who did you go to?
This is what I've started to realize. Like he's probably telling a story from his eyes, from how he saw it. We would have saw it different because we was in it.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Because we were the ones beefing Peckham. So we would have looked at it different. But everybody tells stories differently because it's all about perception. You get what I'm saying? It all comes down to perception. How did you perceive it? So I ain't mad at him, man. Rapman's done a good thing. He's put a lot of people on. Since he's put people in that films, they've gone from strength to strength. So I ain't mad at him.
No, I hear that. So what you got coming next? I know you got the podcast to bring back. What you just living life, looking after family.
I'm just appreciating life right now, to be honest with you. Right now, after the health scare that I had, I'm just here, just loving life, bruv. Just trying to get back to full health because I'm still not at full health yet. Just living, man. Trying to get my podcast up and going, blue tick. Trying to get it out there, but we just got, you know what's funny? There's some new podcast called Blue Tick just come out the other day. So I just see it. Someone just sent it to me the other day. But yeah, man's just gonna be pushing that. I'm trying to open a college as well. I'm trying to open a training center for these kids to teach them gas and electric. Cause you know what? I didn't even get into it with you. I won a national award for my gas work because I'm a gas engineer.
Tell us about that, man.
Because I'm a gas engineer. So 2019, I won Apprentice of the Year for the whole country. So that's for all the major utilities companies. So I was working for Morrison's, and they recognised my work that I did. And I literally won an award. They paid for me to go. They paid for me to go to Birmingham, stay in the Hilton. I went to the award ceremonies with all the big bosses, the CEOs and all of that, the main, and I won.
And, I mean, how was that moment for you in terms of being full circle, like being someone that's on the roads and then all of a sudden, you're getting recognised nationally for, I guess, a 9 to 5. And
a 9 to 5.
On all everything you've done in the streets of the hood, no one gave you no awards for that.
You know
that. Recognised for your positivity.
Right. Now that was a major thing for me. I've never won nothing. I've never won anything apart from football. I'm a couple cups and whatever. But me personally, as a man, I've never been awarded nothing for what I've done. So for me, that's to date, that's my biggest achievement. And I hold on to that dearly because my dad got to see me do that before he died. So I can, my dad can say, that's my son. My mum, they were showing people it. That's the best feeling I've ever had when you get big up by the man, then you feel good. Yeah. But then when you get big up by your parents and your parents are sending around your picture and telling this person, look at my son, look what he did, rare. That's one of the best feelings I've ever had in my whole entire life. Because obviously when man was in the gang, all man did was let down their parents for the man them. I say it to these kids all the time. You let down your parents for the man them, and the only people that are with you wholeheartedly, fully in this thing, is your parents. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I felt like I was kind of paying them back. I gave them back something for what they did, for what they put into me. So yeah, man, that was a big thing. You can go on the internet now and put my name in, and on one hand you'll see gun drug dealer, and the next hand you'll see award-winning gasman. So yeah, man, it's proper, man. Even now I'm still proud of that.
No, send me those both articles. I'm gonna post. I say look at the transition. I'm gonna post stuff on Big Ego later on today, man.
Yeah, man.
But bro, honestly, thanks for coming down. Big up.
No problem, Bobby. Man. Thanks for the opportunity.
Nah, man. Like I said, you guys, I was the first guest on you guys' podcast when it launched as well. And
definitely,
for me, man. It kind of just shows no matter where you're from, we're all one and the same. All this beef thing don't even make no sense. No. It's all about the olders manipulating our young people to make them feel a certain way. And you know what? There's be some young people who take this interview and listen, and there'll be others who just whatever. Yeah,
the youths them, if you take note of this thing, man. If a man's got 5 years on you, what's he doing hanging around with you? The big man is not supposed to be doing the same thing as a youth. So if you're there now and you know a man's big man for you, look at him and question him like, blood, what are you doing here with us? You're not supposed to be with us. Why aren't you with them big man? Because he can't have no good for you. You get me? Like, the youth them, it's hard now. I always say this, for the youths, it's mad for you because you got the internet. So you want to be liked, You got internet, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever. You want to be liked by the whole world.
Yeah.
The youths them, you are trying to be liked by the whole world. We never had that. We only wanted to be liked by the man them. I only ever cared about what the man them think. You lot got to take, don't copy, don't imitate. It takes a lot of strength to be yourself. And that is your biggest tool that you have to your advantage, being yourself. You get what I'm saying? So, but don't get lost in the sauce, man. Don't get lost in it. Like, you see what Bobby's doing, you see what Tricky's doing. These are men that are genuinely trying to make a change for the youths them. There's not too many men like that out here. When we was young, on every ends, we all had a couple elders that were trying to do the right thing to us. It's not like that now. Everybody's trying to use people at their disposal. You get me? The youths them, you're the biggest commodity to somebody who's on the road. If you're a hothead you and he can get you to do things, he's gonna tell you to do things that he's not gonna tell his son to do.
Yeah.
Because you ain't gonna see him pull out his son and tell his son go put in that work, but he'll tell you to do it. So you know it's not good. From a man won't tell his own child to do it, why would he tell you to do it?
For real. Guys, that was another Big Ego Media podcast, and that was Bugsy.
Love.